Greetings, everybody. Thank you for checking out this video. I really do appreciate it. I'm your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is my movie series, Nails in a Coffin. Quick reminder what I like to do here on this channel. Do you ever watch a horror movie and you kind of have to roll your eyes at the stupid decisions character makes? That's what I talk about here. The more dumb decisions character makes, well, I do a kill analysis on that, and I rate them on 1 nail in a coffin to 4 nails in a coffin. The more dumb decisions a character makes, like running out upstairs instead of running outside, or not double tapping when they have the villain down on the ground, well, they get less nails in a coffin. Now, we all know more nails are better, so the more smarter decisions character makes before they die, or if they make a big sacrifice at the end before they die, well, that's going to get them more nails. So let's continue on, and let's see how many nails we're going to give in Seed of Chucky. This movie came out in 2004 after Bride of Chucky, which came out in 1998. And the film's continuity is pretty solid since it takes place 6 years after the events of Bride of Chucky. So the continuity is pretty solid in this film. And we all know movie timelines are extremely important. Shout out to Josh Spiegel from the movie Timelines. Our first kill happens at just 5 minutes into the movie, and our first death is Richard. Richard is Claudia's dad, and so the film opens up. He's scolding her for leaving her toys out and about, and he picks up this doll, and we soon learn that the doll is Glenn, which is the offspring of Chucky and Tiffany from The End of Bride. So as he's telling her not to leave her toys out, the doll comes to life, stabs him in the chest. He stumbles back like everybody seems to do in these movies, falls off the banister and crashes down and dies. He had no idea this was going to happen. He had no idea the doll would come to life. He's just telling his daughter to pick up her toys. So he really didn't make too many dumb decisions. So I'm going to give Richard, starting off Seed of Chucky, with 3 nails in the coffin, because he was surprised, stabbed in the chest. He did stumble all the way back and fall over the railing. So that's why he's not getting 4 nails. So first death of the Seed is 3 nails in the coffin. Immediately after Richard's death, we see Glenn, which is the first person view right now, run upstairs and attack Claudia's mom, who's in the shower. He surprises her in the shower. She's freaking out, gets scared, slips out of the tub, smacks her head on the tile, and she dies. So Glenn didn't even take a stab at her or anything like that. She simply got scared when she saw this animatronic doll coming towards her while she was in the shower, slips out of the shower, and dies. I'm going to give Claudia's mom 2 nails in the coffin because she didn't have a rug down outside of the mat from when she got out of the shower or anything. So really no common sense as far as, slipping when you get out of the shower or anything. Maybe if she had a bath mat down or something, she could have survived. Not saying that she deserved to die, but slipping and falling, she didn't get stabbed or attacked or anything. She kind of fell on her own accord and died because of it. So for that sake alone, Claudia's mom is only going to get 2 nails in the coffin. At the end of Bride of Chucky, we see Tiffany have a painful delivery as she gives birth to her baby. As soon as she gives birth, the baby jumps up and attacks the police officer that was there at the end of Bride. Not 100% sure what happens to him, but what we do find out at the beginning of Seed is that the baby was found by this gentleman who I guess he was just hanging out in a graveyard in Hackensack, New Jersey. Well, he finds the baby and the heart of Dumbala, which was lying next to him, and he takes it with him back to England. He has a ventriloquist show where he uses Glenn as his dummy, and obviously it's real easy because the dog can talk, so he's really popular. He even has a kind of a silly, kind of stupid name for Glenn, calling him Shitface. Well, he keeps Shitface locked up in a cage, and as he's watching TV one night, he sees a movie review on a movie that they're making about the murders of Charles Lee Ray and Tiffany Valentine. They even have the dolls that were left over from The End of Bride, and they refurbished them to use them in the movie. So as he's seeing that, he sees a stamp on Chucky's wrist that says "Made in Japan." Glenn has the same thing, so he's like, hey, I need to make my way to Hollywood to go meet my parents. He has an escape from the ventriloquist's house and he runs away and eventually mails himself back to Hollywood to find out where his parents are and how he can meet them again. It takes about 20 minutes for Chucky and Tiffany to be brought back to life. As I was saying, Glenn mails himself to the movie studio that was making this movie that was using the dolls. He's in the special effects lab run by Tony Gardner, who's a real life special effects artist who does incredible work. You really should look him up. So he gets into the movie studio. Everyone just thinks he's another prop. He sees his parents, pulls out the Harlem Dumbala. He starts talking to them, but, they're dead. He turns the Harlem Dumbala around, recites the incantation, and they're immediately brought back to life. Now, this is probably the quickest result we see from somebody reading the incantation Ade Dewey Dumbala. So I kind of find that interesting that he just had to say it once, and Chucky and Tiffany are immediately brought back to life in their new refurbished bodies. I do want to mention that Jennifer Tilly does return in Seed of Chucky, and she plays Jennifer Tilly. She's starring in the in-universe movie about the murders of these killer dolls, so we definitely have her back to enjoy. Tony Garner is our next death at 23 minutes in. He is that special effects artist I had mentioned. He's done movies 127 Hours, Bad Grandpa, and Zombieland Double Tap, just to name a few. Now, he's inspecting the Tiffany Valentine doll, and this is one of my favorite scenes in his movie. As he's unscrewing the panel on her back to get to the electronics inside, you kind of see the doll's face squinting and moaning like, oh my God, this really hurts. Because, she has already been brought back to life at this point. I love those small details in movies when they do it like that. It was really enjoyable to see that happen. So, as he pulls off the panel on her back, he sees these pair of lungs. They're breathing and moving. He sees blood and sinew and muscle tissue and whatnot. So he's like, and as he sees this, Tiffany's head spins around like The Exorcist. Chucky grabs a wire, throws it around his neck. Tiffany grabs the other end. They pull it taut, and his head pops off. Tony is only going to get, I shouldn't say only, Tony is going to get 3 nails in the coffin. He didn't do anything stupid. He didn't make any dumb decisions. He was working on a special effects doll when he was murdered. No inclination, no clue something like this would happen. He didn't make any dumb decisions. So, Tony, you're going to get 3 nails in the coffin. Before I get to the next death, I will talk about another scene in the movie that I really like, and I think it's really funny. One of the funnier scenes in the entire franchise, I think. Glenn is in bed talking to Tiffany and Chucky, as a young child would be talking to his parents. And he asks them, is he going to become a killer? And Chucky's like, well, I sure hope so. Glenn then asks him, hey, isn't violence bad? And Chucky has a response.
Not violence. Violins. Violins are bad.
I thought this was hysterical. I still laugh at it. It's still funny. And I just love that humor they had with Chucky being really funny. At 43 minutes in, we have our next kill. Chucky and Glenn are in a car taking a short road trip, some good old father-son murder bonding. They're driving down the road and they get cut off by this fast car driven by Britney Spears, played by a very good Britney Spears look-alike. She cuts them off, flips off Chucky and Glenn. This pisses off Chucky, as you would assume. Chucky tells Glenn to step on it, and they run her off the road. And as soon as her car veers off the road, it just suddenly explodes, which is pretty common in movies, or either that or she was carrying a lot of gasoline and dynamite in the engine of her car. I'm going to give the fake Britney Spears only 2 nails in the coffin. She didn't technically do anything stupid other than cutting somebody off and giving them a finger. Does that deserve for you to get run off the road and die? No, but again, she didn't see her hit the brakes or anything at all. The car goes off the road and it immediately just explodes. So it must have hit a nitroglycerin tank or something on the side of the road. But for good old faux Britney Spears, she's only going to get 2 nails in the coffin. shortly after our fake Britney Spears dies, we're at our next kill, and the character's name is Pete Peters, played by filmmaker John Waters. Pete Peters is in his darkroom developing photos. Now, for you younger guys out there, a darkroom is where photographers would develop their photos, taking it from the film that you stick into a camera, putting it through a process to actually getting, printed out pictures. Totally different than what we do nowadays, which is using a digital camera and simply using a printer. So he's in his darkroom developing photos. He pulls up one, and it's Chucky pleasuring himself, which had happened earlier in the movie. Chucky is now hanging upside down with a knife in his mouth, about to attack him and kill him. Glenn is there hiding as well. He's having a conflict with his conscience. He goes to stop Chucky, so he's jumping out saying no. Peter sees this, gets scared, backs up into a shelf, falls down to the floor, and as he falls down to the floor, a big glass jar of sulfuric acid breaks on his head, melting half of his face, killing him. I'm going to give good old Pete Peters one nail in the coffin for improper storage of hazmat. Yes, I know to develop photos, they do use certain types of acid in the old process of developing photos, but while you would keep it on the top shelf of a room is beyond me. I think it was really stupid, which is what led to his death, and we know when you make stupid decisions that lead to your death, you're not going to get a lot of nails. So, Pete Peters, one nail in the coffin. Hip-hop megastar Redman is next to go, and this takes place around 52 minutes into the film. He's been hanging out at Jennifer Tilly's place because Jennifer Tilly wants a part in Redman's new movie about the Virgin Mary, and Jennifer wants to play the Virgin Mary. They were drinking the night before, but Chucky and Tiffany had knocked each one of them out. Chucky made a deposit, and that's the picture that Pete Peters had taken. And using a turkey baster, he impregnates Jennifer Tilly. Well, it's the next day. Jennifer Tilly finds out she's pregnant, and when they're sitting down to dinner, her and Redman, she breaks the news to Redman, telling him that she's pregnant. He's like, hey, that's great, but it can't be him because he has had a vasectomy. So Jennifer Tilly gets really mad. She goes and storms off. Well, Tiffany, who's trying not to kill people anymore, breaks down. She gets really mad at the way Redman is treating Jennifer Tilly, and she hides underneath the large glass table where he's eating dinner. He hears something. He goes to move the plate, looks down, sees Tiffany, and Tiffany immediately guts him and kills him. And right before he does die, Jennifer Tilly comes back into the scene, and she's still mad, and she tells Redman to drop dead. What are we going to give Redman? Well, I don't think he did anything stupid or did anything ignorant or wrong. He was having dinner, didn't think he was in someplace unsafe. There was no one else in the house. He had no idea or no clue, no reason to believe somebody would try and hurt him, so his guard was down, as would anybody else's. So he's only going to get 3 nails in the coffin because he didn't do anything wrong or stupid. He's actually played a very smart character as Redman is, so it was a great character for the movie. Redman, nice and strong, deserved 3 nails in the coffin. At an hour and 2 minutes in, we have our next death, and it is Jennifer Tilly's assistant, Joan. Where we are now in the film is Jennifer and her limo driver Stan are gagged and tied to the bed. Chucky and Tiffany, with the Heart of Dumbledore, are about to perform the incantation and put their souls into their bodies. Joan has shown up because Jennifer had called her earlier, frantic, screaming and yelling about being pregnant. Joan gets upstairs and she sees Jennifer and Stan tied to the bed. She's shocked, doesn't know what to believe. Jennifer spits her gag out, tells Joan to watch out, but before Joan can really do anything, she sees Chucky, and then she sees Glenn dressed as Tiffany with a cigarette lighter and a can of hairspray. He sprays her in the face. She catches on fire, stumbles back a good 15 feet, falls over the railing all the way down to the first floor and dies. I'm going to give Joan 2 nails in the coffin. She didn't do anything too stupid that I saw that added up to her death. Given the situation, who knows what they would really be thinking back when they see a doll, set their face on fire. I'm going to give her 2 nails in a coffin, which I think is right down the middle. Not too many stupid decisions. I mean, she could have maybe reacted a little differently. It's just that whole running backwards type thing, stumbling, which is why she lost some points. So good old Joan, 2 nails. Tiffany's limo driver Stan is next to go at an hour and 10 minutes into the movie. He finally got out of his restraints right as Chucky is about to throw a knife at Tiffany or Jennifer Tilly. They were really close on the bed. It's kind of hard to tell. But in an act of self-sacrifice, Stan throws himself in front of them and takes a knife to the chest and dies. He made a sacrifice, which earns a lot of points with me in, giving nails out. But he could have taken his hand away or something before sticking his chest out. It was self-sacrificing, so I'm going to give him 3 nails in the coffin because, he was trying to protect Jennifer Tilly or he was trying to protect Tiffany. Either way, when you have those self-sacrificing moments like that, you're going to earn more nails. So Stan, Jennifer's limo driver, 3 nails in the coffin. Probably my favorite part of the movie is when Chucky, he's had enough. He's really fed up. He's on the bed. They're about to put the souls into the body. It's just all this chaos going on with Jennifer Tilly, Tiffany, and Glenn and Chucky. He's just had enough. And he screams to the gods,
I am Chucky, the killer doll, and I dig it!
We're at the climax of Seed of Chucky. Currently, we are at the hospital. Jennifer Tilly has given birth to twins. Tiffany is determined to put her soul into the body of Jennifer Tilly because she doesn't want to be in a doll anymore. And she plans on putting the soul of Glenn into one of the twins, a boy or a girl, so he can decide on being Glenn or Glenda. But Chucky will not have this. He is determined to stop Tiffany from doing this. In the hospital room, Chucky is trying to break down the door with an axe. Tiffany is reciting the chant of Ade Dewey Dumbala with some additional phrases, and instead of saying awake this time, she is saying switch, switch, switch. As soon as she finishes saying that, she takes an axe to the head. I'm counting this as Jennifer Tilly's death. I believe as soon as the incantation was done, I think the switch took place, and this was the death of Jennifer Tilly, considering what happens later on in the movie. So for now, Jennifer Tilly, in the body of Tiffany, is getting 2 nails in a coffin. She didn't do anything too wrong or too stupid at the time. She was in a hospital room. She was knocked out. She probably could have done more to defend herself from these, small little dolls. So we're going to go down the middle of the road for Jennifer Tilly. In the body of Tiffany, 2 nails in the coffin. After Chucky kills Tiffany, Glenn gets extremely mad, and there's this really quick Matrix-style fight between Glenn and Chucky. Tiffany, in the body of Jennifer Tilly, helps out by sliding over an axe. Glenn hits Chucky in the chest with the axe and then just chops all of his limbs off. But Chucky, no matter what, even though he's being killed, he's really proud of his son for what he's doing right now. I'm giving Chucky 2 nails in a coffin for his death. It kind of seemed like by now he knew he was going to die, so he just kind of let it happen. He didn't fight as much as he done in the other films. So I think this is the least amount of nails I've given a Chucky death. So 2 nails in the coffin for good old Chucky. Our last kill in the movie happens at an hour and 18 minutes in, and it is Fulvia, which is Jennifer Tilly's au pair or live-in babysitter. Fulvia is about to quit. She's quitting because she can't take the kids anymore. She's really scared of Glenda. And as she's telling Jennifer Tilly this, you see Glenda, standing behind her outside, through a plain glass window with this real creepy, evil look on her face. And Fulvia tells Jennifer Tilly, you know what, I'm scared of her. I don't want to do this job anymore. Jennifer Tilly's like, okay, sure, you can quit. Thanks for everything. But as soon as Fulvia turns around, Jennifer Tilly takes the doll of Tiffany and bashes her in the head with it and beats her to death. Fulvia is getting 3 nails in the coffin because she didn't do anything dumb. She was actually being smart because she was uncomfortable in the house with this creepy kid. So she was deciding to quit and get herself out of the situation. So Fulvia is going to get a very respectable 3 nails in a coffin. A close-up on Jennifer Tilly's face, and we see her eyes slowly turn to green, telling everybody that it is Tiffany. There we have it. Seed of Chucky. I want to thank you guys a lot if you've stayed for so long. I do appreciate you staying to the end of the video. And if you haven't already, just take 1 second, hit like, and give me a subscribe if you haven't already. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year, and I think we can do it. So see if you can help me out. I would really appreciate it. And like I said, if you liked anything, just give me that little thumbs up. Also, let me hear what you had to say in the comments. If you agree or disagree, let's talk about it. Let's see, talk about Seed of Chucky. Once again, I'm your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. And remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.